Let's go get him again.
This release right here, smoky and woody, but mostly smoky up top. Did I get your attention? I bet I did. Fragrance family, welcome to the Roll Zoe channel. I'm your host, Mark. This series, Taking a Test Drive, is where I test drive a scent through a sample. I wear this scent as much as the sample lets me. It is my scent of the day today, and I'm going to give you as much detail as I can to give you my final thoughts on if I'm going to be purchasing this or I'm going to be letting it go. Let's go. As the title suggests, I am taking a test drive of Dahab by MiN, New York. Now let's go under the hood. Let's take a look at some stats on this one. Release date back in 2014. Concentrations eau de parfum. Major notes to my nose were incense, cedar, and saffron. So obviously she's going to be a darker, perhaps even a spicy fragrance. So my day with the scent, I still have my little sample right here. I completely almost drained it here. I just have enough to spray the back of my hand here. Maybe a little bit more out here. And that is the end of Dahab. So let's sniff this one out. Let's remind me of this introduction. And you know, the first the first few minutes of this release is heavy incense, ashy, dark, just the way I like them. Heavy cedar too backing it. So you have some heavy woods, but incense is primary and it's very smoky. Just the way I like it. Smoking woods, always a win for me. But hold up. I'm enjoying this because it's short-lived. And I know it's short-lived, unfortunately. Okay, so this thing has some layers to it. There's a citrusy lime that comes after that beautiful, beautiful dark introduction. It's very faint in this release, that lime, but it's there. There's a little green spicy quality from the galbanum. There's a small touch of oud, but more westernized than anything. Mostly about the cedar and incense up top here. There's a little bit of sweetness from the resin, the amber. MiN says this should have aquatic tinges to the release. Honestly, beyond the lime in this introduction, I don't see it. It's mostly dry woods, resins, and some sweetness. Now in the heart of this release is when things start getting less interesting. The more interesting part starts slowing down. It's still woody, and the smoke turned itself, the dial right down here. The spice comes up. We got saffron, we got cumin here, and it shows more of its spicy personality here. The ambery sweetness shows more of itself also. The woods are mostly cedar to me, not oud. It shows towards the end just a woody, sweet back end. It lost a lot of its greatness later in the scent. It's unfortunate because this was recommended to me by my splitter, and bang on for my interest as far as a dark smoky scent. That opening almost had me pulling the trigger, but the more I wore this, the more I felt like it's not getting the push that I have with some of my darker smoky scents. So overall, they say, and when I say they, I mean MiN New York, they say it's when the desert meets the sea. I get no sea-like quality here unless I really close my eyes and that lime magically shows me the sea. I did not get any of that. This fragrance is super dry like the desert, and it has a splash of lime that livens it up a little bit up top. It loses some steam towards the end where others in this genre keep pushing. And that's where, you know, somebody like myself that has so much experience and love for smoky, darker scents, I tend to take out the ones that can't keep up with the big boys And this is, unfortunately, through this sample, it did not keep up with the big boys. So let's get into the Revolver. Let's talk about seasons, day, night, versatility, and performance. Let's start with seasons. This one, to me, is more winter, fall. Again, I got a lot of the darker notes. Like, they're brief for this release. I got no C notes, honestly. All I got was darker notes. So I feel winter, fall, mostly. Day or night, I felt like this is more of a nighttime scent. Versatility, I'm gonna go with average. It really isn't, it's daring enough, but for someone like myself, it's daring. It got my attention, but it lost my attention a little bit. Performance, this is where it kind of hurts. Longevity was 6 to 8 hours, which is good for a scent, and projection was average. But again, for these type of scents, the woody, smoky incense-based scents, I'm expecting more, and it didn't. It did not perform the way I wanted it to. So, at the end of the day, this was my very first sniff from the brand of MiN New York. I knew about them releasing scents when they first released them. I went to MiN New York when I went to New York, and that's where we actually met up, myself and a lot of the fragrance community from New York. And I was excited about these releases, but I never really got samples but the names were interesting, the note breakdowns were interesting, and I'm happy to have at least tried one of them. This sample, again, thank you so much if my splitter is watching. Thank you for giving me this sample so I could try it out. And as a recommendation, definitely that opening is right up my alley. So if you got any other smoky scents, send them my way. He knows me well. MiN does have my attention now. I do want to try out more of this lineup, but this one right here fell a little short for my expectations. Now, just to name a couple smoky scents that I absolutely love, I would go with Black Tourmaline. Is an absolutely gorgeous release that pushes. Bois d'Assas, Naomi Goodser, a great smoky scent. So that's just two fragrances that have this theme and absolutely obliterate what this thing did as far as longevity, projection, and keeping that smoky theme alive. They really did a great job with those releases. Just those two really did a better job than this one, honestly. It's good, but it loses me a little bit towards the end. So if I had to give it a score, and I'm going to give it a good score because it is a interesting release, especially if you're just starting out at smoky scents. This may be one that would be good for you. I would say I'm going to give this one an 8 bottles out of 10. So that's a very good score. But it's teetering on, ooh, I wanted a bottle. Now I'm kind of like, you know what? I don't really need another smoky scent. And thinking about it, the other ones do a much better job. So I'm going to go give it an 8 out of 10. I still think it's a solid release. Now that you heard my take, I'd love to see yours in the comments below if you have smelt this scent. I know not a lot of people will or have, but I'd love if you have, please share with us, especially if you have smelt others from MiN New York. I'm very interested in seeing what you guys think about maybe the next one that I should sniff out. As always, a great rapport fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your scent wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Have a good one.